Let's get started. Blam! So, we are going to be starting over here, if I can keep all my windows organized properly. Accent. We're going to be starting 1066, the classicest of all CK2 starts. Sure, lots of expansions added earlier starts, but 1066 a good time. High Middle Ages, a lot of things are enabled, a lot of things are settled. The map sort of looks the way you kind of are used to, and that's going to be great. We're going to go with the custom games edit, though. So for those of you who don't know, Crusader Kings 2 is a feudal grand strategy game where you can play as basically the world is divided into these individual provinces or counties, right? And each one of them can have a count, and you can play as a count of any one of these provinces, or the duke, which is the level above that, which groups multiple counties into a duchy, or you can play as a king, or you can play as an emperor. There's characters that are simulated at levels below as well. There's barons, there's just regular courtiers who are in your court. There's a ton of intrigue. It's some people say Crusader Kings 2 is really a marriage matchmaking simulator, right? Where all you're trying to do is marry the right people to inherit the right titles, or get people with good genetics so that your kids will be super smart or super strong and all this. There's religious stuff, there's this, there's that. There's a ton of expansion at this point. CK2, how old's CK2 at this point? 3 or 4 years? Like, it's been out for a while. And, like, every 4 months, Paradox is like, here's another chunk of content. What can we add next? Let's do this. Okay, and then throw some more. So the latest one added all these sort of secret societies you can join in. There are 2, if you're Catholic, there are 2 monastic orders you can join. There's also, if you're smart, you can join a hermetic order of, like, I don't know, wizardy type people or something. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at it. And there's also an order called Lucifer's Own, and that's what we're going to be playing as. And in particular, I thought, wouldn't it be great to start right next to Rome? So here's Rome. Here's the Papal States. We're going to start right next door over here. Not as Kaiser Heinrich of the Holy Roman Empire, but instead, just one level below that, we're going to start as the Duchess Matilda of Tuscany. I think she's young. She's 20 years old, not married. Actually, it has 3 duchy level titles, and I think 7 counties, which is actually going to lead to a certain amount of instability that we're going to deal with. We're right next to the Pope. We are going to see if we can join Lucifer's Own, and then we're going to try to raise some hell. So I think that's going to be kind of some fun. It's basically historical House of Cards. And they recently celebrated a 5-year anniversary. 5 years this game has been out, and they're like, people are still loving it. Let's keep making more stuff for it. And it's really turned into a full game. Makes it a little hard to just sort of pick up and learn. But yeah, and you can play it as, you want to conquer the world. I mean, or, well, the known world at this time. You can totally go and just try to expand your realm and all that. But the real strength of this game is the role-playing and the events. So we're not going to be concerned about growing our territory. We are safely within the Holy Roman Empire over here. And we are going to be looking to... that's going to be a nice little safety net. We don't have to worry about outside forces coming after us. We're mostly going to be worried about being burnt at the stake. Now, I don't know when this got added in, but this is fantastic. When you start the game, you now get the ability to tweak a crap ton of rules about the game that you want to change. Because a lot of the expansions have added a lot of extra stuff, like epidemics. How do you want to deal with the bubonic plague? Do you want it to be historical, so it'll start at the set year, in the set place and follow a historical path? Do you want it to be super crazy? Do you want it to just sort of have a random chance of appearing in some way, and you can tune that? You've got that, Mongol invasion. Do you want devil worshippers in your game or not? And what I like about this is some of these still label Iron Man mode. We can choose whether we want to play an Iron Man just fine. Some of them, what would be, oh, right here. Turkic Conquerors. If we turn this off here, this would disable achievements. So, but there's lots of options that are still completely fine and legal for achievements, and you get to tune your experience depending on things. We're going to keep all the rules as default over here, which is nice, but there's tons of things to change. How gender equality is handled in the game, which is going to be super relevant for us, for example. We could make our life easier and go full gender equality, but we're gonna fight the uphill battle. It's gonna be fine. We're not gonna be limited by the hardcore historical mode for this, but it's still gonna be a bit of an uphill battle. So what's going on with the tips? Oh, we did get one in from Terja. Oh, ran out for cigarettes, hence the very lip tip today. Hashtag poor playing Terja. Oh no. That was probably like a 20 stream streak you had going on here. Oh no. See, this is why cigarettes are bad, people. This is why cigarettes are bad for you. Still, I appreciate that you're here and appreciate the constant support. Thank you so much. And Ghoulman Fight is here too. The Drunk Monk, which is a good name. The Drunk Monk will never be outdone. The Drunk Monk will take all the snow in the world. Well, please do, because we got another 30 centimeters this week and it was miserable. Anyway, let's go ahead and start the game. Do-do-do-do-do. Let's actually hit the button to start the game, and that will be helpful. I'm gonna be blowing my nose with paper towel instead of Kleenex, so that's gonna be kind of rough. Alright, so we are playing an Italian Catholic duchy. We're playing as the Duchess Matilda of Tuscany. So again, 20 years old. Title-wise, we have the Duchy of Tuscany. We can actually click on this and see what the deal is. Now, right now, all of this territory is considered to be the Duchy of Tuscany. These blinking lights over here. The actual de jure part of it is just these provinces here. It just so happens that all of these counts here report to me, and this is my primary title, so this is currently considered to be the part of the Duchy of Tuscany, even though historically it's not part of the de jure set over here. So we might, have some political difficulties, but we've got that. What else do we have? We have the Duchy of Spoleto over here, which is just a 2-county duchy, not very big, although they're fairly wealthy because of the trade and things that can happen over here. We also have, oh, is that it? We just have the 2 duchies? Okay, so we just have the 2 duchies over here. Although we can create another duchy if we would like. If we've got the money, we can, where's the actual button over here? We could create the Duchy of Modena, because we control both of these provinces. We can create another duchy level title, and that might be fun and fine and okay to do. We're also directly are the Count of Brescia, Modena, Ferrara, Spoleto, I know I'm going to butcher all the Italian names, deal with it, Arpucium, and Siena as well. Oh, and Florence itself, which I believe is actually where we are living. We are living in Florence over here right now. Yeah, so we're not actually literally next to the Pope, but maybe we could move things later on. So we've got a lot of holdings. In fact, we are above our domain limit. In the game, you can only sort of directly manage so many counties, depending on your stewardship skill, your current government, and different things, and laws, and centralization, and that sort of thing. And so, right now, our domain limit is 4. We've got 7, which means we're not getting the full taxation benefits from all these things. We're also potentially taking some political hits here and there. So that might be something that we want to look into. We might want to look into giving up some of our counties to other people. We should still, the people that we give it to should still be within sort of our vassal structure, right? They should be counts that report to us, but we won't control it directly. So we could consider that if we end up having, maybe we've got some good relationship with people in our court, and we would like to give people who agree with us already a certain amount of power. So that's the current political situation here. Again, we're within the banner of the Holy Roman Empire, and while it's possible that other counts or dukes in the HRE might decide to set their sights on our holdings, we have a fair amount of protection from external threats because the entire empire is going to defend us fairly effectively should something like that happen. So that's fine. We are unmarried. We have really good diplomacy skill at a 15. That's pretty stonking good. Our martial skill is only an 8, although honestly, that's not terrible either as like a natural martial skill. It's not horrible. 10 stewardship and 10 intrigue is actually very decent. We only have a 5 learning, which is a bit unfortunate, but hardly the end of the world. If we did get an opportunity to raise anything, it's always really nice to boost your diplomacy a lot because it gives you a lot more ability to get people to do the things that you want. The other thing that'll probably be handy for us is intrigue. De jure is in law. I often say de jure as well because I don't know reasons, but those are like the right ones, like the classic ones that would normally belong to that particular area. All right, so as in any Paradox Grand strategy game, what you tend to want to do is deal with all these flags at the top. These are kind of alerts that you're probably going to want to deal with in the short term. We've got new important decisions available for us. So one of the great things that was added at some point in CK2 is the ability to toggle things to note that they're important or not. So we will get reminded whenever we have the opportunity to hold a feast or a... I might want to turn it on for Summer Fair. I don't know, maybe we'll hold off for now. Summer Fair can give you a little bit of prestige, but tends to cost money. Prestige is good. Is it still for every 100 points of prestige you get a a boost. Okay, it's not a hard limit anymore or anything like that, but I think it's somewhere like that. They may have nerfed it a little bit. It might be every 200 prestige now. I think might be true. You get effectively a +1 diplomacy boost. But people will like you the more prestigious you become, which is quite handy. We could recruit a court physician, which will be quite important if we do start to get some epidemics. Now, I can take the decision, which will attract a new one, or I could assign someone who's already in my realm here, and give them the court physician title. So the best court physicians will be people with high learning. We've actually got 20, 17, 16. That's pretty good. This bishop here, if we go and send him the court physician, I mean, he likes me 59. He already likes me a fair bit. Why don't we just make him our court physician? I think that's probably going to be fine. So we'll do that, and in theory, he might like me even more. Was it 59 before? Now he's 69? Yeah, +10 from me in the court physician. So he's our court chaplain and physician. Does have a lot of authority now, but hopefully we can keep him liking us. He is a, well, actually, he was a bishop. He now says cardinal. I guess bishop is actually his nobility rank because he runs a bishopric, but he's also a cardinal in the church. Maybe we can possess him or something later on. These things can happen. All right, we currently have no heir of our destiny. That's bad. You know, right now, if we were to die suddenly, our title would be inherited by some other guy, this Count Joffrit. Because we have no children, no heirs, whatever. We got to get ourselves making some babies. If we were to die, we would lose a bunch of titles, as we know. We can create the title. This will cost us about 200 gold if we want to do that, but we could create a new duchy-level title, which might help us then hand out these titles, right? If we create a duchy over here, we could hand out Parma and Modena. So Parma we don't control directly, but Modena we do. So we could hand out the day-to-day running of Modena to someone else, for example, which would be good. Okay, ruler unmarried. Let's deal with that one now. So, marriage. Oh, sweet marriage. These are all the people who we could almost certainly marry as is. This is a huge list. Plus, there's like many, many more ways we could like potentially find a spouse in this game. It is crazy, and the art of marrying the right person is not simple. Now, certainly we want to do a matrilinear marriage. Matrilinear marriage means that all the children born of this marriage will be of my house, di Canosa, as opposed to the house of whoever I marry. That will ensure that my titles stay within my dynasty. The only way you can lose this game is if you run out of sort of heirs in your dynasty with titles, and then it's like, well, your great house has basically been wiped out. So yeah, so we need to make sure that we have more di Canosa heirs in here. So we're going to do a matrilinear marriage. That does change the list over here, because a lot of people who already had titles and may have been willing to marry me are now no longer willing to marry me because they want to make sure that their children inherit their titles. But we still have a lot of options. And then the question becomes, what do you marry first? Oh, you want me to get an ambition first? That might not be a bad idea. You're right, because we can get an ambition to... can we not get an ambition to get married? Our choice is Paragon of Virtue, which would be to reach 500 piety, or become Queen of Italy. We'll put a bookmark in that one. Acquire a title. This would be gain a title from liege. So our liege would have to give us something. That might be a little tricky. There's build a war chest, which actually, our finances are pretty good. I'm pretty sure we could accomplish this. We are duchy, so we'd have to store up 500 gold. But if we do that, then we would get, for like 15 years, a bonus to our tax modifier, and, you know, it feels good. And then there's groom and heir, which would be to have a child and see them reach adulthood. Now, because of our current laws, that would be specifically looking to get a male child. But if we happen to change our laws, we might be able to do it with male or female. We're going to work on that. While that's going, our fertility's increased. So I don't seem to have a possibility to an ambition to get married. Insignificant ambitions get removed. Yeah. And it was lame because it was silly. You could take it, instantly get married, insta-complete it. It was a silly ambition, and I totally agree with that. Most likely what we will do is we will go to build a war chest first. The nice thing about taking these decisions is they also give you some extra buttons to push. If we take build a war chest, we will gain a button that we can use to raise taxes every year, and, you know, really hammer the peasantry. Groom and heir for that fertility bump, and that would be good. Or groom a war chest. I'm going to take the war chest because the money will come in really handy. We're not probably going to war. Our war is going to be fought in the back rooms You know, very cloak and dagger style. So I'm going to take that. Yes, we will do that, because what it does is it gives us, see, there's a new important decision. It'll give us the ability to extort our subjects for more money. And I think that's quite cool. We have to choose a focus as well. Now, here's the thing. We want to join, so you can take a look at the societies over here. There's the Benedictine Order, the Dominican Order, the Hermetic Society, and Lucifer's Own. I want to join Lucifer's Own because it's going to be fun. The problem is you can only join Lucifer's Own if you're a sinner. And currently, we are not a sinner. You have to be older than 16, and you have to be from a certain subset of religions, Christian being one of them, and we're Christian. We have to be a sinner. Sinner means you need those traits, the red traits, in here. We have actually 2 virtues. We are diligent and patient. We also have 2 things that aren't religiously oriented, although we're zealous, which is a problem. We're actually a super good Christian, but that's not going to last very long. We're also content. So we need to make sure we become a sinner so that we can become part of Satan's own. And as far as I can tell, one of the fastest way to do that is actually to take seduction, because it has a really good chance of giving us the lustful trait from a event. So we're going to do that. Also, the intrigue is good. Also, the fertility is going to be really, really, really handy dandy to make some babies. The family obligation or focus also works well for that. Also gives you more health, which I got to say is pretty powerful. But we're going to take seduction over here because it's going to thematically going to work out quite well, I think. So we're just going to wait a little while, and at some point we will probably develop some sort of sin, and then we can apply for that. Okay, so let's go back to consider looking for a husband. So the problem is, who do you marry? Do you marry someone politically? Do you marry someone because they've got good stats now and it'll help you in the short run? Do you marry someone that has good genetics and might make you better babies? These are all really, really, really valid things to consider. Is there anyone who's a genius? Okay, no geniuses. Is there anyone who's bright? I think that's the other one. Strong? Not at this time. I think you can search for traits that way. They did add that in. I think it's just there's literally no one available at this time. No, they're strong there. I thought you could search for a trait in here. Oh! The scroll box goes weird. That's right. If you've scrolled at all, things get a little bit bizarre. Eric, Prince of Denmark, is strong, but he's only 11, which is... I mean, we could arrange a marriage. Are any geniuses available? No? Okay. That's right. You have to scroll. I think bright is the other one. No, it's quick. But there's no one like that here. Okay. So that's a shame. They've probably all been snatched up. So we could marry someone who's strong. That's good genetics, but again, he's only 11. We have to marry someone who's relatively young and relatively fertile. That's important. We could marry someone with like really high diplomacy, say, because we will get half of our spouse's trait gets added to us, and having that added in is good. Here's someone who's lustful. So there's a boost of fertility over there. That's not bad. Oh, another one is attractive. And yes, you can deal directly with people, but that sounds, and to find people with traits, but that sounds like pain in the ass. Attractive. It would be interesting to breed a series of attractive people, but there's no one available at this time. You are limited by range and a few different things like that in some of these things. So we've got that. We could take someone super high intrigue, although if ever we start to disagree with them, it might be hard to eliminate them later on. So having a low intrigue spouse can actually be a little bit handy. We got a 17, and he's good. Ambitious, cynical, paranoid, kind. Ambitious isn't bad in your spouse, actually. Character menu is better. Yeah, I know, but shush. This is going to be fine. This is going to be easy. You need to get some dwarves so you can get the Dwarf Fortress achievement. Is that seriously a thing? Oh my god. Yeah, and so there's the find character screen as well, which is this one here that's super sortable. So we could search for people who aren't married, and things. And so you can do, a lot of different stuff over here, but I find that's, too annoying. So screw it, we're just gonna do this. Title's great on traits. I'm not caring about expanding here. Really, that's not what I'm kind of concerned with. And it is very hard to do a matrilinear marriage for a title. It's very tricky. But it's possible. Like, for example, if we were searching by rank, we do have, Eric, Prince of Svedig over here. Svedig. So he is a Swedish prince. Just, honest, brave, wrathful, tough soldier. I mean, doesn't have any particular boost to fertility, but is definitely a possibility. There's also a legitimized bastard Prince of Svedeg over here, which is a possibility. That's interesting. There's Eowyn over here, Prince of England. Again, a legitimized bastard. I think legitimized means he can get claims, but I think they're weaker. So, I mean, Prince Eric here might be the most powerful one. Eowyn's stats are kind of meh. Chaste? Nope, not interested in that. Nude Prince of Denmark. So, lots of bastards. Bastards. This is an actual bastard, not legitimized or anything like that. Should we just marry Eric over here? Just for the title? Eowyn is due to inherit. Is he? Oh. Oh, he holds a claim to all of England. Ah. Here's Scotland over here. So he has an actual claim on England. His stats are weaker, and he's chaste. I mean, that's okay. We can just sleep with other people, right? We can just sleep with other people. Don't forget to assassinate all the Falieros. You're right. Oh, it is pronounced Knut. You pronounce the K? Really? I don't know if it's strong or weak. I don't actually care about the claims in this game. We're not looking to do this. In fact, I didn't want to pause this long. I didn't want to take this long to get married at all. We want to go fast. We want to... We don't care about expanding our temporal holdings. We care about expanding our otherworldly holdings by becoming, you know, the bride of Satan. Chaste is the worst. Marry for claims, boink for genetics. I mean, chaste is not celibate. So he's not, like, infinitely opposed to fertility. But, especially, I'm probably going to become lustful, so we're going to be opposed. You know what? I'm just going to marry Eric, Prince of Svedeg. I know that he's not inheriting anything, but we can put him as one of our commanders or something like that. Unless we grab this guy. Because he does have a little bit of intrigue, and I kind of like that. Too bad this guy's so old. He's got some good stuff going on. There's another Prince of England, not set to inherit anything. Or Donald, but crappy stats. And then we've got some low-level claims over here. Better stewardship. You know, if I did boost my stewardship, I might be able to get my domain limit up to that. Let's do a quick little sort. If we don't care about genetics, and we don't care about claims, let's sort for higher stewardship. I do kind of like that. So, Bardful over here is not, you know, he's not whatever. He's slothful, so he gets a huge penalty everything. Cruel, ambitious. This might be a possibility. This guy does have a claim on something, on Brage, whatever that is. His stewardship's down to 13. You know what? We're going for Knut, apparently, over here. You know what? We're going to do that. He's decent stats. F it. Done. Done. That's just what we're doing. Finished. We're going to marry a relative of the king. We're going to get a bunch of prestige. Pfft. Finished. Look at that sexy Knud face. Well, there you go. All right, what else we got? Ruler and Mayor, that's going to be dealt with. Domain is too big. We'll see what we can do. We can assign some special minor titles, like Designated Regent. As long as we get someone who really likes us. We're going to see how some things shake down before we do that. Speaking of shakedown, let's go ahead and extort our subjects over here. So we can take it from the peasants. This will lower all our subjects' opinion of us by -10, which could be a little dicey. I don't think it stacks, though. This gives 70 gold. We can also get 100 gold if we take it from the church. We still get the -10 penalty to everyone. And we also lose 50 prestige, or piety. But, you know, we get lots of money. So we're going to go ahead and do that. As your men load the wealth of the bishopric of Reggio onto several wagons, you're approached by a raving group of clergymen. Apparently they're not too happy about you seizing their valuable idols. They claim you would be punished by Lucifer. I'm not going to be punished by Lucifer. If you cannot justify this blasphemy. So, Lucifer be damned, the wealth does more good in my coffers. So, this is going to also upset my temple vassals. We're going to get fewer taxes from that area going forward. It specifically upsets the Pope, who's shocked. And it's going to give us the stress trait. That's actually really crummy. We may have to be a little bit more cautious with that. Oops. So, we'll see how that goes. Alright, let's go ahead and unpause the game. Let's go up to speed 2. So, first thing we did, we already upset the church. Hey, we're going to get married! Now, that's quite a lot of gold. 60. I do tend to like the prestige, but I think we're going to take the 60 gold, especially because of the war chest thing that we've got going on. So we're going to go ahead and get married. The King of Denmark said yes. That's my father-in-law now. Excellent. Wonderful. So we are now married over here. And we need to make sure to get boinking so that we can make some more babies. All right. We're going to hold off on that for a bit. We can still create that title. Actually, we could create the duchy now. Should we? Okay, I can now have a domain size of 5, which is nice. If we offload just 2 things, we won't be above our domain size, which is... Whether or not it's a big deal, or you get fewer taxes if you're above your domain size, but at the same time you have more stuff. So what do we think?